So I thought I'd do a quick pre-primer 360-degree update video on the old Tamiya Jagdpanther that we did the zimmerit tutorial on. The extra details that I have added will be easier to pick out and see now rather than after priming. So we'll just start right here with the front corner. As you can see, I removed the fender with my X-Acto knife. Presumably the fender was lost in a battle. To further enhance a bit of battle damage, I broke off the front length of side trim and repurposed that piece as the fender support bracket. I drilled a series of holes in the bracket where the fender bolts would have gone. The tool storage bracket and tools are pretty much right out of the box. I did, however, fabricate the jacking block and wire rope brackets from styrene. They may not be 100% historically accurate, but do add a further element of visual appeal. These tools are also straight out of the box, although I did space them off the superstructure side with additional styrene strips. And the track holder bracket is also straight from the box. Moving to the front of the tank, starting with the bow machine gun area, I added the zimmerit paste and freehand scribed in the lines with an X-Acto knife. The missing zimmerit tile was unintentional. It flaked off when I was scribing the lines and decided to leave it as is to simulate a little battle damage. These styrene angle fender supports were an added detail I found while scouring my resources. The electric wire is a bent up piece of thin gauge metal rod. I also added a towing clevis from the parts box, as none were included with this kit. There are also various areas of chipped and damaged zimmerit throughout the front plate. Using Tamiya's gray putty mixed with lacquer thinner, I stippled that mixture on with a brush to try to create a nice cast effect. I used two separate applications to build up the effect, and I think it turned out pretty well. The gun collar also got the same treatment, as it was smooth out of the box. I'm planning on using the barrel that was supplied with the kit. It did need a little sanding and filling, but I think it's going to be more than acceptable when finished. Having a look at the other side now, the tool storage bracket and tools again are right from the box. I did try to add a single coat of the thinned Tamiya gray putty to simulate texturing on the tow hook, but I don't know how well the effect will show since it's such a light application. The barrel cleaning rod holder is also from the box. However, I did add the aerial antenna storage bracket. Again, more zimmerit tile damage was added to the side of the superstructure. And this one kind of looks like a Tetris piece. And here's the back of the upper superstructure. Not much to really say there. I hand scribed the zimmerit on the ammunition door. The aerial is just a piece of stretched sprue. There's not too much damage to the zimmerit here, as I felt it was an area that would be more sheltered from that kind of damage. So let's have a look at the top of the engine deck. Not too much has changed on the engine deck from when you probably last saw it. I did try to add a little cast texturing to the cooling intakes, but that's about it. I'm actually really excited to see how the scratch-built engine deck screens are going to look once in primer. And here's the back of the Jagdpanther. The zimmerit turned out quite well, I think. I did find it easier to apply the zimmerit template over the entire exhaust area rather than try to mask those areas off, so I did have a bit of zimmerit removal to do. I did, however, apply masks where the storage bins are to keep the plastic clean and free of the wood filler putty. Equally, I think the zimmerit texture turned out really well on the storage bins. I did add the extra thickness of styrene to the tops of the bins to simulate the lids of the storage boxes. Tamiya includes this detail on their Panther A kits, but for some reason that detail did not carry over on the Jagdpanther. And it may be hard to see, but I also added some hinge detail to those lids as well. And finishing off the lower hull, I did decide to add the zimmerit texturing to the sides of the hull. Not really sure how much you'll be able to see it once the road wheels and tracks are on, but nonetheless it's there. Lastly, here are the exhaust pieces. I did use a pin vise and various diameters of drill bits to hollow out the exhaust. They turned out rather well. If I had any advice on this, it's take your time and work your way up from small to large diameters so you don't end up cracking the plastic and creating more work for yourself in the end. As with the gun mantlet, I textured the exhaust with a lacquer thinned mixture of Tamiya's gray putty and stippled it on with a paintbrush. There's probably 2 to 3 light coats on there, and I think it gives it just the right amount of flaky rust texture. I also gave the armored elbows a quick texture coat as well. It has taken just about a month to zimmerit and build this model, but here she is, the Jagdpanther in all her gray primer glory. I am very happy with the way everything has turned out on this model so far. The zimmerit texture and simulated damaged and missing tiles really look nice and convincing. I've actually already made masks for the damaged areas, and what I planned for that is spraying those areas with red oxide, covering them with the masks, and then base coating and camo. Once that's complete, I'll be able to peel the masks and start the weathering. I think it should work out pretty good. The texturing on the gun mantlet and collar came out about what we expected, not too bad. None of the cast texturing showed up on the tow hooks, but I was pleasantly pleased with the way the cooling intakes looked. Despite being hand-scribed, the ammunition door blended well enough with the surrounding templated zimmerit. You can definitely see the hinge details a little bit better on the storage bin lids now that they've been primed. That's just another one of those little details that most people might not pick up on, but you'll always know is there. Kind of like those front fender angle brackets. I was really happy with the way the engine deck screens came out. Although the mesh material is a little larger than scale, they more than exceeded my expectations and only cost pennies to make. The frames do blend in a lot better now that they have a coat of primer on them. Well, I think that just about wraps up this update. I have to say that I almost get more enjoyment from my models doing the research and studying photographs, trying to add as much extra detail as I can to keep the viewer's attention and interest. So I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe got a few ideas of your own about adding extra details. Let me know in the comments below ways you find to add extra details to your models. Thanks for watching and happy modeling.